Every empire needs a firewall. And business is not made of code, it's built from character. It's what keeps your peace intact when pressure rises, your purpose clear when profit tempts, and your vision uncorrupted when voices get loud. Today, I want Breakthrough Now, we're talking about the entrepreneur's firewall. How to guard your heart without closing it. How to stay emotionally grounded when life or leadership triggers you. And how to build boundaries that protect, not punish, your purpose. If you're just stepping into entrepreneurship, this episode will show you why emotional regulation is your first line of defense against burnout and bad decisions. And if you've been leading for years, this will remind you that mastery, it isn't about control, it's about capacity. The ability to handle pressure with grace is the real mark of authority. Because Proverbs 4:23, it doesn't say guard your hustle. It says, guard your heart above all else, for from it flows the issues of life. That's your boundaries, your limitations. So let's build your firewall, not to block opportunity, but to protect the divine signal that carries your vision forward. Hi, if you're new to me, my name is Raquel, and I'm your GPS for success. Let's get started. There's a reason scripture tells us to guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life, right? Proverbs 4:23. When God gave that instruction, he wasn't telling us to become hard or self-protective. He was giving us a divine business strategy. Every entrepreneur has two battles happening at once. The visible one, the projects, right? The emails, the clients, the deadlines, and the invisible one, the thoughts, the emotions, the interpretations running inside our beautiful mind. And the moment you start building something new, that inner battlefield, it lights up. Why? Because creation always attracts confrontation. Your brain, designed by God for survival, interprets risk as danger. The system, especially the amygdala, fires like an alarm whenever something feels uncertain or threatening. It doesn't know the difference between launching a business and being chased by a bear. Both register as, I might not be safe. That's why you can have a great idea. You can feel on fire one moment and then start to spiral into self doubt the next. The amygdala hijack has taken over. But here's the truth: when God called you to build, he also equipped you with authority over your own nervous system. You're not at the mercy of adrenaline. You're designed for dominion. So let's understand the hijack. In neuroscience, an amygdala hijack happens when emotional reactivity, it overrides your rational thought. So your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for logic, planning, and creativity, essentially think of it like going offline. And that's when we make fear based choices. We overwork, we overgive, we over explain. I spiritually, that's when we start leaning really on the flesh instead of the Holy Spirit. And you can recognize a hijack by the symptoms, right? Racing thoughts, a tightness in your chest, defensive replies, or maybe a sudden urge to quit. And it feels personal, but it's actually neurological. The enemy doesn't have to steal your business if he can just keep you triggered, because a triggered heart can't hear instruction. So, how do you guard your heart when the hijack starts? You regulate. And this is the art of guarding without hardening. Guarding your heart isn't about shutting people out, it's about filtering what gets in. Think of your heart as the operating system of your business. Every email, every comment, every invoice passes through it. If the system is infected with fear, comparison, or resentment, it will corrupt the data that determines your decisions. So, the first rule of the entrepreneur's firewall is this: peace is your permission slip. When peace is present, proceed. And when it's absent, pause. Even the most anointed idea can malfunction if it's executed from anxiety. The word tells us that let the peace of God rule in your heart. We see that in Colossians 3:15. In Greek, rule means to act as an umpire. Peace is the referee that tells you when something is safe to pursue or when to step back. So let's build your emotional firewall. I want to break this down, make it simple, brain based, a simple process to activate your firewall when you feel triggered. The first thing I want you to do is name it to tame it. Label the emotion out loud. This is fear. This is frustration. Neuroscientists have proven that naming an emotion reduces amygdala activity. And spiritually, it's the moment you bring something into the light and darkness loses its power. Secondly, breathe before battle. Take 5 deep breaths slowly through the nose and out through the mouth. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system and signals to your brain we are safe. So it's like, oh, when you're upset, breathe. Yes, you're sending the signal. It's the modern equivalent of being still and knowing that I'm God. He gave you the framework in your body. Thirdly, reframe the trigger. Instead of this is too hard, say this is evidence that I'm expanding. Every trigger is proof of growth. You're upgrading your internal software to handle a new level of blessing. Fourthly, speak the word. The firewall isn't built with willpower, it's built with word power. Declare verses that recenter you. I've not been given a spirit of fear, right? My heart is steadfast, trusting in the Lord. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. The word calms the limbic system because truth literally rewires thought patterns. So, this is the application if you're a new entrepreneur. When you're new to business, emotional regulation is your business plan. Most people quit not because of lack of skill, but because of emotional fatigue. They confuse emotional turbulence with a sign that they're off track, when in reality, it's actually confirmation that they're entering new territory. God didn't say avoid pressure, He said to guard your heart. So when the client cancels, when the post flops, when family doesn't understand, recognize it as a test of your firewall. Ask, what story am I telling myself right now? Does this story agree with the promise God gave me? What would peace do in this situation? You'll start to see that guarding your heart, it doesn't make you weaker. It makes you wiser. Every kingdom builder needs internal resilience before external expansion. And the more you practice regulation, the more creative you become. Because the calm nervous system hears strategy clearly. God's wisdom flows through peace, not panic. The Spirit of God isn't loud, He's still. And when your inner world is quiet, your next move becomes obvious. So if you're just starting out, don't rush to perfect the website or the funnel. Build your firewall first. Learn to catch the hijack, breathe, reframe, and respond from identity instead of insecurity. Because the enemy wants you reactive. Heaven needs you regulated. And that's how you guard your heart and your vision. And once you've built that internal firewall, you can handle more clients. You can handle being more visible and therefore having more impact without burning out or breaking down. You'll realize that boundaries, they're not barriers, they're bridges to sustain success. We want to sustain it. You stop making mistakes because out of urgency, and you start leading from overflow, not exhaustion. So now that you've built the internal firewall, the one that keeps your emotions aligned with your mission, What happens when you begin leading others? When your business expands and your influence grows? That's where mastery and authority take center stage. So, in the next segment after this break, we'll talk about how seasoned entrepreneurs maintain peace in high pressure environments, establish boundaries that honor both calling and capacity, and lead without losing their sensitivity to God. Because emotional mastery, that isn't the end of the journey, it's the beginning of divine authority. I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you for watching Prospera TV Network. We hope you're enjoying the show. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're a growing tribe, a community of some of the highest level entrepreneurs, high performers, titans of industry all over the world. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to scale your business, take it to a whole nother level, the Connected Leaders Academy is your hub. You want to be a part of this tribe, and mainly for 5 reasons. To grow, personally and professionally. We all want to be better people. We all want to be better entrepreneurs. To scale your influence. We all want to have authority in our space, be the go-to person in our industry. Of course, move the needle in your business. What does that mean? More money, more clients, leads, referrals, endorsements, collaborations, it's all here. We want to develop our skill sets. We're all working on something. None of us have arrived. And of course, we want to grow our network and our circle exponentially with more intentionality, more ROI, and better results. The Connected Leaders Academy is now well over 350 members, paid members. We are in 42 states across the US and 17 international countries. We're talking about awesome places like Italy, Malta, Australia, UK, Hong Kong, Pakistan, India, Germany, France, South Africa, the list goes on. We have entrepreneurs from all different entrepreneurial backgrounds, real estate investors, insurance brokers, attorney offices, coaches, authors, speakers, trainers, publishing companies, martial arts school owners, social media gurus, branding experts, you name it, we have the best of all industries under one roof here. I welcome you to join the Connected Leaders Academy today. I want to invite you personally to set up a virtual coffee with me. How do you do that? Go to www.connectedleadersacademy.com. Again, connectedleadersacademy.com. Check out the website, click on the link to set up a virtual coffee with me directly, and I would love to have a conversation with you and explore the next steps on your journey here with the Connected Leaders Academy.
Only takes one yes to turn it all around. One step of courage where faith is found. From broken to beautiful, from ashes to grace. Every soul reborn in a whisper's place. Don't wait for perfect, just start today. You're one yes away. Whisper it, even if your voice shakes. You're one yes away.
Hi, my name is Jarain Ortiz, owner and CEO of BCS, Bookkeeping Consulting Services. At BCS, we help nonprofits and small businesses with all of their financial management needs. Bookkeeping, grant tracking, project tracking, budgeting, financial reporting, cash flow management, and more. You can visit us at bookkeepingcs.com. That is bookkeepingcs.com.
Shift happens right here, right now. I declare it, I wear it, I walk it out. From thought to word, from word to see. I'm rewiring reality. It's not just about the fight, it's how we rise from it.
Welcome back. When you've been building for a while, warfare shifts. At the beginning, the battle was within. Now it's around you through people, pressure, pace, and perception. As influence grows, so does exposure. And what once felt like feedback can now feel like fire. You're not just stewarding ideas anymore. You're stewarding people's expectations, payrolls, and prayers. And that's why seasoned entrepreneurs don't just need vision, they need voltage regulation. You've been entrusted with authority, but authority without boundaries burns circuits. And just because you can handle pressure, it doesn't mean you're supposed to absorb it. Think of Jesus in the crowds. He healed, he taught, he multiplied bread, and then he withdrew to pray. That wasn't avoidance, that was alignment. He's understood the rhythm of pour and protect. Every modern leader needs the same rhythm, especially those called to the marketplace and those who are doing marketplace ministry. Because when you operate from overflow instead of obligation, your influence multiplies without fragmentation. Your peace, it becomes productivity's hidden partner. Mastery isn't about control, it's capacity. There's a lie that many leaders swallow. If I'm anointed, I should handle everything. No. You're anointed to discern what's yours to handle. The mature brain knows the difference between capacity and control. In neuroscience, this is the shift from sympathetic dominance, the fight or flight, to integrated regulation. It's a balanced dance between action and abiding. When your cortisol spikes, the brain's executive functions shrink. And that's why under stress, you forget scripture, you lose empathy, or you snap in a meeting. Your nervous system is overloaded, and an overloaded system, it can't carry revelation. Moses learned this in the wilderness. He tried to lead alone until his father in law said, what you're doing is not good. You will wear yourself out. Delegation wasn't weakness, it was wisdom. So the call to guard your heart, it evolves. It's no longer about resisting external threats, it's about maintaining internal voltage stability. The firewall now protects not just your peace, but your people. When your inner current stays steady, those connected to you, they draw strength instead of static. There is a power of selective access. Every kingdom leader must learn holy permission. Even Jesus didn't grant everyone the same level of access, right? He had his 12, he had his 3, and he also had the 1. And in business, that translates to your inner circle, right? Your advisors and your intercessors who know your real numbers and your real heart. You have your team circle, those empowered to execute vision, but not edit it. And then you have your public circle, those you serve, you bless, and you inspire, but don't get to speak into your identity. Access without assignment, that equals distraction. When you confuse compassion with access, you create chaos in your calendar. Healthy boundaries are not walls of fear, they're gates of stewardship. Gates open and they close with discernment, not guilt. And when you master that, you stop managing people's emotions and you start managing energy. That's how you lead like Jesus, accessible, but not available to everything. Because leadership without limits eventually becomes leakage. We want to regulate in real time. So here's a quick framework for leaders under pressure. A firewall upgrade for those managing others while managing themselves. Firstly, recognize the charge. Before you react to the text or email or the tone of voice, ask yourself, what's exactly activated in me? And often it's not their comment, it's actually your unhealed expectation. Secondly, reset the atmosphere. Step away for 90 seconds, breathe, bless the person silently, speak peace into the room before speaking words into the room. Third, reroute the energy. Channel adrenaline into aligned action. Walk, pray, voice note strategy. Motion metabolizes emotion. Fourth, re enter with authority. Authority is in volume, it's vibration. When your nervous system is calm, your voice carries weight. Your team will mirror your regulation. If you stay grounded, they find safety in your steadiness. And that's what Paul meant when he said, imitate me as I imitate Christ. Leadership is transferred through nervous systems before it's taught in meaning. And remember, emotional regulation isn't the absence of emotion, it's the stewardship of it. You can feel deeply and still lead decisively. So let's build some boundaries that multiply. Seasoned entrepreneurs often fear that boundaries will shrink opportunity, but the truth is that it's going to sustain it. When you start saying no to what's good, you create space for what's God's. Your yes has creative power, so use it wisely. Say no to urgency that isn't spirit led. Say no to partnerships that cost peace. Say yes to rest that restores revelation. Remember that Sabbath was God's first firewall. He worked 6 days, then declared everything complete and rested. Rest is not a reward for finishing the work. Rest is a spiritual technology that keeps your work blessed. If you're exhausted, you're easy to deceive. If you're rested, you're hard to manipulate. And that's why the next level of entrepreneurship, it requires emotional mastery, not to appear stoic, but to stay sensitive. The world calls it emotional intelligence. Heaven calls it maturity. And when you model maturity, your team stops mirroring chaos and it starts to mirror character. And that's legacy leadership. We want to lead from overflow. So as your business expands, remember, people don't follow perfection, they follow presence. Calm leader transmits clarity. A peaceful voice recalibrates a room faster than a PowerPoint. And that's your firewall broadcast frequency. Guard your inner life so tightly that peace becomes your brand. Let clients feel it on your calls, hear it in your voice, sense it in your offers. Because true authority is recognizable. It carries the fragrance of heaven. So next time you face criticism, delay, or chaos, because it will come, pause and remind yourself, my heart is the control center of my company. My regulation determines my reach. Guard it, not with fear, but with faith. You're not merely a CEO, you're a chief emotional officer too. Your nervous system sets the tone for your organization's miracles. That's the real entrepreneur's firewall. Peace that passes understanding and leadership that cannot be provoked out of position. When you learn to regulate, you stop reacting. But when you learn to yield, you start receiving. The entrepreneur's firewall protects your heart. Now it's time to power your systems. In our next episode, the Spirit Executed Operation, we're going to go deeper into how heaven runs strategy. You're going to discover how to break old habit loops that keep you hustling in the flesh and install new spirit led rhythms that keep you agile, innovative, and in flow. Because the same spirit who gives life to your body can give life to your business. We're moving from emotional mastery to operational mastery, from guarding the heart to governing the house. And if you're ready to run your business with God instead of for Him, meet me in episode 10. And until then, protect your peace, keep your voltage steady, and remember your authority isn't proven by pressure, it's preserved by presence. And if you want to go deeper, I invite you to meet us in the Edge Lab. Everything you need to know about the Edge Lab will be at theedgelab.net. Until next time, may God's richest and best be yours. Bye for now.
This is your Prospera era, where dreams align with grace, abundance flows like rivers. You've stepped into your place. Rise, reign, and remember, you were born to shine. Welcome to your moment, Prospera, it's time.
We hope you enjoyed today's show on Prospera TV Network. Make it a point to visit us on YouTube and catch all your favorite shows anytime you want. Interested in hosting a show of your own? Or advertising your business on our network? Contact Elena Rodriguez.